Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to today's lecture. I'm going to be introducing corporate social responsibility to you, or CSR for short. First, I'll give you a short fictional story to explain what corporate social responsibility is about. Then, I'll talk a bit about what CSR is with some definitions. Next, I'll go over different kinds of CSR projects and how they can benefit companies. I will then contrast this with some disadvantages of CSR for businesses. And finally, I will return to the first story and ask a specific question about CSR. Okay, let's get started with Kumar's story. Kumar lives with his elderly parents, his wife, and his 4 young children. He wakes up at 4:30 every morning and walks 2 hours to work on the tea plantation. After his 12-hour shift, he gets home by 9 p.m. His children are usually asleep, but he's satisfied because he earns enough money to keep his children in school and care for his parents. However, today he heard news that the British tea company that his employer sells to will move to a new, cheaper supplier in 2 months. He will no longer be needed at work. The decision to change suppliers was made at the tea company's headquarters thousands of miles away in the UK. The company is keen to maximize its profits. However, this decision raises an obvious question. Should the tea company thousands of miles away take responsibility for the workers on the plantation? Let's think about how we can answer this question. Corporate social responsibility is the term used to explore the problems and solutions in stories like the one told here. Outside stakeholders, no, not that kind of stakeholder. I'm talking about stakeholders such as, governments, consumers, unions, charities, and local communities. They're all interested in the impact that companies have on society. Corporate social responsibility is about how companies manage their business processes to produce an overall positive impact on society. There are many definitions of CSR. The Confederation of British Industry defined CSR in 2001 as follows. CSR covers the extent to which companies should promote human rights, democracy, community improvement, and sustainable objectives throughout the world. The World Business Council defines CSR like this. CSR is the continuing commitment by business to behave ethically and contribute to economic development while improving the quality of life of the workforce and their families, local communities, and society at large. So I'm going to talk about how companies can implement CSR, and at first I'll look at how these can bring advantages to the company. One way is through innovation. For example, Unilever developed a detergent for clothes which uses less water. This kind of innovation required investment and long-term thinking. By innovating, the company increased its profits but also had a positive impact on the environment. They claimed that their product saved 500 million liters of water. That's a continent's use of water for a month. Another kind of CSR activity is donating to charity. The company Tom's Shoes did this activity. Every time the company sold a pair of shoes, they donated 1 pair to a child who needed them. This had the advantage of making their brand unique on the market and emotionally engaging customers, which built brand loyalty and encouraged more consumers to buy Tom's Shoes. One more CSR activity is energy reduction. The company General Mills decided they needed to make more savings in energy. So, they installed energy monitors on their factory equipment. They managed to increase their energy savings by 20% by the year 2015. Therefore, the advantage to the company for this CSR activity was reduced costs. Many companies also help their employees to build sustainable relationships with local communities. For example, employees with computer skills can help train teachers in schools with skills and knowledge that can benefit the children in the school. And this has the advantage of helping to boost the company's positive image in society as well as bringing skills to a future workforce. However, CSR can also create some competitive disadvantages. How? Well, for example, a common CSR policy used by many companies is to check suppliers are following good business practice. And this often means that companies check that suppliers offer workers good working conditions, and this is the case with Apple, who've been criticized in the past for not properly checking the working conditions of workers in their Taiwan factories. It can also mean that companies have to check the materials provided by the suppliers. They need to make sure that the materials are good quality, not bad quality. Companies such as Starbucks in the coffee business will often make these kinds of checks. Starbucks works with farmers to check the quality of coffee beans and helps farmers to produce good quality beans. On the other hand, always checking things adds production time and increases expenses for the company, which increases the prices of a company's products. And if a rival business decides not to check suppliers, then the rival company can do business at lower costs and make products more quickly and more cheaply. This can make a company's shareholders angry, and they might demand the resignation of company executives. Another disadvantage of CSR is from the point of view of stakeholders, such as consumers. Some companies use CSR simply to advertise that they're helping the environment, but in many cases, companies are not really helping the environment. They just want to use CSR to improve their public image, and yes, that's called greenwashing. When consumers learn about this, they might lose trust in companies that make false claims. So, I've discussed a few advantages of CSR projects and disadvantages of them too. Let's look again at the British Tea Company. The British Tea Company is keen to boost its profits, and so they've chosen a cheaper supplier in another country. However, the tea company is also keen to promote its CSR initiatives to help build brand loyalty. The executives in the company have $1 million to spend on CSR initiatives, and they're discussing a number of options. The first option is an advertising campaign to its consumers, which shows how the company is helping to improve the working conditions for its farmers in other countries. The second option is financial compensation for Kumar and his family and all the workers on the farm. Which do you think is the best form of CSR? Do you have any other ideas for how our British Tea Company could improve its CSR? Thanks for watching.